everybody and welcome back. I have a very special guest with me today. This is my beautiful grandma. Say hi.
Hi.
This is Shirley, or Grandma. We're just going to call her Grandma. But I am going to do a complete makeover on her, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to see how this goes. She promised to be on her best behavior, so it should be, I hope, yeah. It could just go at any moment, but we'll get her some snacks, right? Some candy and some frosting, and we should be okay. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and just stay tuned for the end result. Thanks, guys. Hi, everybody. So we're just going to prep the skin. That's what you see me doing here. These are these under eye patches. We really liked them. It was my first time using them, and this is just wonderful I use this on all my brides to really get them ready for their wedding day. It helps to just de-stress, de-puff the under eyes, just cooling, and just wonderful for your skin. So what I like to do, regardless of how old, how young, I like to make sure prepping the skin is key to really lay that foundation. I'm taking my Nurse Jamie roller, and this just tighten, tones, and firms the skin and lifts it. And it really just helps bring blood flow to the top layer of the skin. And I'm taking my vitamin enriched face base from Bobbi Brown. I'm just really hydrating her skin. She's got beautiful skin, considering she's 82 people, 82. But I'm using her beauty blender. A lot of these products, if you don't see me using an applicator on her, it's because I'm using her products. So just so you know. So what I do here is now I'm just prepping. So now this is my favorite pore filling primer. This is the Tarte Clean Slate, I think it is, pore filling primer. And it really does fill in fine lines, pores, and more than any pore filling primer I've ever used. I do think this retails for $39, but again, a tiny bit goes a long way. Now I'm taking my Clinique Moisture Surge Spray, and I'm just spraying her face, and it just really, you'll see me kind of using my sponge to go back and forth with layering and just pushing it into the skin and absorbing any excess. So now I'm just color correcting. I'm taking some green over some red, some age spots. She bruises really easily, and so she has like just some little red dots everywhere, and so I'm just kind of clearing up those with green, which is color correcting, obviously. So I'm going to be taking that over her lid too. She has a tiny little red dot on her lid as well. It just really helps to kind of help the foundation to give more coverage and to even out the skin tone, which makes a huge difference in the overall effect of the makeup, in my opinion. So we're going to start with, go over again with some Makeup Forever. I'm going to use some Makeup Forever, but these little eye patches take like 5 to 10 minutes tops if you need them. But the product is still there, so you can take the leaves off and they'll still be depuffing and all that stuff. So now I'm just taking a little bit of under eye corrector. She's a little bit red underneath her eyes, and so I'm just taking some corrector again. I do find that for more mature skin that it is nice to color correct. I mean, even if you have dark circles as a younger person, it's still great to do that. So that's what I'm doing there. And now I'm taking the L'Oreal Pro Glow, which is the prettiest foundation in my opinion for any age of skin. It is just thin. It's like a sheer formula, but it has beautiful coverage. It gives you a skin-like finish, a glow, and it's just really healthy for the skin. So I'm just taking that with a beauty sponge, which is the Real Techniques beauty sponge. I'm just going over all of her skin and just making a blank canvas and taking it over her eyelids underneath, and she kept wanting to put her head back, so I apologize. I corrected her a couple times, but it just kept falling back that way. So just bear with us here. And also with mature skin too, sponges are wonderful because it's going to absorb extra product. And with wrinkles or fine lines or smile marks, whatever the case may be, it's best to do that because it's not going to crease and make you look even older. So that's kind of and I always drag it down the neck as well. And then at the very end, you'll see me also do her chest because we don't want her face looking flawless and still having spots on her chest as well. It just makes it for seamless. So I'm taking some concealer. I'm taking the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm just highlighting. I'm doing that in the center of her face. I'm just kind of highlighting. I'm bringing some dimension. There you go, Kayla. I'm bringing some dimension to her face. So that's what we're doing here, and I'm just going to keep blending that out and focus that in the center of her face. here I am just going in, and I'm sticking to a lot of creams after hydrating her skin. It's best to kind of use a cream on more mature skin. I will set the face and use a dry as well, or a pressed powder, but it really just really complements the skin to lay that base down. So I'm taking my Chanel cream bronzer, and I'm using my Clarisonic, but it's a foundation tip or head for it, attachment. So I just dip it in there and I swirl it around and just bring it all down her neck, and it just adds the most beautiful, glowing finish to the skin. So again, I'm just kind of keeping with that theme as long as staying super hydrating and moisturizing, and then that kind of finish as well, because when I do go and set the face, I'm not using mattifying foundations and creams on top of powder or underneath powder, because the combination, in my opinion, makes it look crepey and cakey. But using more luminous or more things along that line, when you go in even with powders, it still has a luminosity to it. And that just is very complimentary on, in my opinion, many different skin tones and types. I am using the Hourglass loose powder, the new one, the Veil one. So I can't remember the exact name. I do show it, I think, eventually, but I just forget to post it. So I am right now taking my damp beauty sponge again, because it pushes it into the skin and gives a flawless finish. And it gives a radiance to it, so it does obviously set the face and allow oils to keep it bay, but it does have a luminous finish to it. And so I just set her face with that, and there we go, Kayla. I'm showing you now. I'm explaining it to her because she has questions about every little thing I do. So, got to keep Grandma in the loop. And what am I going to do next? I'm sure I'm going to go in with a bronzer of some kind. I think I'm going to use the Becca palette. Oh, I'm taking the, to dust off any extra, I'm just taking some IT Cosmetics powder in her skin shade, her skin tone shade, and just a very light dusting of that, just to make sure there's no flashback, and she just keeps her eyes closed all the time. She's so precious. So yeah, now we're going to use the, again, using the roller, because she's like blown away by what it is. So I'm just telling her what it is, and it comes in handy. I like to do this before, during, and after. And then also just dusting her face. It continuously going over with a sponge and a brush really absorbs, even after you place the powders down, even on your own skin, not mature skin, but any skin. When you go back and forth with that, you're absorbing any extra product, and you're making your makeup last all day and look so flawless. So I'm taking the Khloe and Malika collaboration with Becca, and I'm taking that bronzer shade in there and using my NARS Ida, or whatever brush it's called. You can look it up. And tell me how to pronounce it, because I have no idea. And I'm just taking that bronzer is stunning, and so I'm just taking that. I use a more concentrated brush at first to kind of carve out certain spots to add more depth, to really bring out her cheekbones, and to, she's got a really sweet, cute nose, so I didn't have to do much there. But then I take a fluffier brush, and it's a natural fiber brush, so it's not going to take up too much product, and I'm just dispersing the bronzer on her face so it doesn't look like a line, and it just gives her that warm glow. Look at her. I can't believe she's 82 when I look at this video sometimes. Just amazing. So I'm taking the Patrick Star powder. You could still use the same powder. I just wanted to, she was just curious about everything, so I used as many different products as I could on her. But I just carved out, so like if you go too heavy or too crazy with your bronzer, just know that you can carve it out and clean it up by using a translucent powder underneath to just kind of make that line sharper again. And then I'm just dusting over the same areas. You'll see me do that a lot, and for my brides, and for whenever I have a client, and that's my secret to making the makeup last so long, you guys, is to just constantly go over it in application. Start with very fine and light layers. And yes, this is not every single day makeup, okay? So just remember that, like these steps, like most of the time I'm using a beauty sponge, some foundation, mascara, and brows, and I'm out the door. I'm not doing anything else, or I'm not wearing any makeup. But this is to make it last, to make the skin look youthful regardless of your age. And I'm just taking a little bit, believe it or not, of the Anastasia Glow highlighter, or the amrezy highlighter, and I just push that onto her high points of her cheeks, and where her skin, there's no wrinkles in that area. And so what I did there was I just, afterwards, after I dusted on those high points, I just pushed it with a beauty sponge, because what it does is really absorbs it into the skin and doesn't make it look chunky or glittery. Now I'm taking a setting spray, and that helps lock everything in. It sets and pushes down all the powders. It locks in the highlight, so she's never looking like a cake face. Just never, you're not seeing too much setting powder and all those extra things. It really just shows like a glow from within on the face. And see, again, I'm taking the sponge over her smile lines, and as you go, the makeup still sets. So the whole time that you're in my chair, I like to make sure that I am critiquing and finishing everything. If I see it out of place, I don't just stop one time. If I'm done with your eyebrows and then I see it, I'm still going to go over it with a sponge. So I'm just mapping out her eyebrows now. I am going to cut this short. I am just using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow definer in the shade Taupe, and this was a perfect shade for her. So I'm going to cut this off, and then I'm going to jump to the eyes. So those are her brows done. I did put some clear brow gel on them. I don't remember if I did that in this video, like when I was filming it, or before I cut it off. But she does have the Anastasia brow definer and clear brow gel, and I'm sure she's bossing me around. That's the Jaclyn Hill highlighting palette, and I just am showing you the shades. I'm taking a super fluffy brush and just dispersing that light brown color all over her lid except for underneath her brow bone. Again, I stay away from, I do highlight her just a tiny bit, but in the inner corner, but if there is a ton of wrinkles or loose skin or I just stay with mattes. But I'm taking the next darkest shade. I'm taking a brush, sorry, side note, I'm taking a brush that's more dense at the tip of it and just focusing that one slightly below the first shade I put. Okay, so you're going to kind of just see the first shade is like a halo to the darker shade, and that's what helps blend. And I'm just adding some definition to her outer corner. But like I was saying about if you're using the right colors too, an inner corner highlight, you don't have to be afraid of highlights. It just can't be chunky or glittery or even like just liquid that they settle in fine lines. Something that almost looks like a wet, like the Anastasia highlighter with Amrezy collaboration. That one looks wet. You never have to worry about glitter chunks or not looking like the same color. It literally just looks like it's melted into the skin. And same with the Jaclyn Hill palette. There's the first two shades up top in the upper left corner. The two highlight shades are beautiful for inner corner. And see, I'm just taking the darker color now, and I'm going to take the same brush and just use that even lower than the second shade. So it just builds off itself, okay? But if you have a client with a ton of wrinkles or loose skin, I don't recommend putting a highlighting shade there, or highlighter for that matter, just because it does emphasize texture, wrinkles, all those things. But I do find that it's not a big no-no. I find that I think it looked illuminating on her and brightening, and it did everything I wanted to do on her. So I just pop a little bit on the inner corner there, and it just made her look open and awake, and it was just enough. And I just take the excess from that brush and dip it in, or just do it underneath her brow bone a little bit just to open it up, and then I take the blending brush from the first shade and I just emphasize that again, or go over it again so it all blends together. Now I'm just smudging out. I'm just doing the same exact thing I did from the top to the bottom. I do think that balancing out your lash line, I told her, Grandma, get your head straight, it just really helps to kind of emphasize, and it brings out your eye color, and it's just pretty to have that symmetry with some shadow on top and then underneath. And again, you see me taking the sponge and just cleaning up any excess again, because like I said, that's just the best thing you can do. And I just go back and forth. I have my client usually open their eyes with their eyes open and look at me, and then I see what shades, especially with older clients or with skin with more mature or hooded lids if you're young. You want to have them open their eyes and look at you so you can see what shadows are peeking through, because when they relax their eye, the hood drapes or comes down, and it gives you could just erase everything you've done. So I like to make sure that I can see it when their eyes are open too, and so that's a great little tip to kind of help. And I went ahead and did her lips pretty much off camera. I kind of cut it out just because it was I overdrew them to balance out the upper and bottom lip. And then I just mixed a concoction of lip products together. That was probably the hardest part with the lips, to be honest with you. So I did pretty much cut that out, but I can list the products below of what I used. But just a really pretty mauve pink kind of was what we went for. So now I'm going on with lashes. So I just got the Arielle Demi Wispies. It's great for eye shapes like hers. And anybody, honestly. I added some duo glue on there, and then I shaped them to her eyes. That's really, really important. She's got very small eyes, so you want to make sure that you're sizing them right. Always trimming from the outer corner inward, because you don't want to take away from the inner corner graduation. Then I'm just applying a little bit of the Superhero a cosmetic superhero mascara. And then she's going to, she thought it was connected. And then I'm just going to do some bottom mascara and do a little bit more to her bottom lash line. But you always want to add mascara over the base, especially of your lashes, so they look like they're your natural lashes. So now I'm just taking the same L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation and bring that down her neck and chest. And I was going to show her for the big reveal. She couldn't believe it. She's like, what? And then I did a little bit of mascara on her bottom lashes as well. She's got very tiny little lashes. And you guys, that's it. So everybody, this is the finished look. I hope you all enjoyed. I had so much fun with you. Love you. Look at us. We're sisters. Oh my gosh. Oh, I hope to look like her. Oh, come on. Jump in. This is our triplet. There she is. Look at her. Look at us. 3 generations of beauties. Hi. And then anyway, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good girl.